Remember ages ago when I made a ranking talking about ranking the ninja due to my personal preference? Well, I'm gonna rank them again, but this time for another different reason. I'm gonna rank them based on the quality of their development. What I mean by this is how well are they developed, essentially. Because and even though a ninja can be developed quite a lot, it's the quality that matters. You remember, quality over quantity. Um, so while a ninja could have a lot of development, the actual quality may not be that great. So I am Link the Nindroid, and today I'm going to be ranking the ninjas based on the actual quality of their development. And at the bottom of the list, for the second time in a row on these lists, is Jay. Man, Jay has just not been getting great development. I actually explained this in a previous video called "Is Ninjago Screwing Jay Over?" But basically, the main point I said in that video was basically how whenever Jay gets development, boom, it's just automatically undone, essentially, by the next season. It's almost as if the show forgets that his development even exists. And it's incredibly annoying to fans of Jay who actually want to see this character that they love and get attached to grow and develop. And I feel you. It's aggravating when there's a character that needs development so badly, but the writers just don't do it. They just don't do it. And there's only been two occasions. Well, I'm not going to count season 1 because most of it was just him simping for Nia. There were 2 cases where he actually had actual development that wasn't Nia based, or at least for the most part it wasn't. Season 6, well, for like the last half of it, I think. Because the first half of it was, but the second half was not. Then in season 12, but season 12 they just jammed it into the finale. And with season 6 there's the infamous ending, which did last but did it or didn't. You can't really tell for sure 100% if that development actually stuck or not, especially since Data Departed and Hands of Time kind of just ignore this, which only makes that finale all the more confusing. And so far there hasn't been really that much Jay development ever since, except Seabound. Well, Seabound isn't directly a Jay season. It does affect Jay in the long run with, his partner, Nia, which we'll get into, becoming one with the sea, and basically Jay is going to go full-on depression mode. And, I hope that Jay gets some monumentally groundbreaking development, because honestly, he needs it. Otherwise, Jay as a character is essentially almost, in a sense, ruined. And at 5th place, again, for the second time in a row, is Lloyd. Now, a lot of people may be shocked that I put Lloyd at 5th, but hear me out. Before Season 8, Lloyd was amazing. He was basically a very likable character. He wasn't over-focused like he is now. He wasn't over-focused. He actually felt like a very balanced character, and that was great. And also, he had a very good arc leading up to the 8th season, his Master arc. I really love his Master arc, by the way. I don't get why it's getting a lot of hate. If there's something to hate about Lloyd's Master arc, it's not Lloyd you should be directed to. It should be directed towards Kai, Cole, and Jay. But the thing is, they're annoying because that's the point. It showcases the struggle of being a leader. I know this when I took Taekwondo. When I had to teach those little kids, sometimes they would be in their own world or do anything, and I had to discipline them. It's called discipline. And I just wish more people understood that. But then the movie came and fucked everything over, and now Season 8 he just gained the title of Master and pretty much dumbed down a lot of his character just for the sake of a love interest. what the absolute hell? Like, how do you become a struggling master in training, a great arc, to just an easy to manipulate piece of trash in the span of one season? One! But luckily, Season 9 kind of fixed this, because Season 9 Lloyd and Resistance plot is really good, by the way. But then Season 10, it didn't really follow up on it. It just kind of sort of happens, I guess. He just kind of shows in, does his stuff, and leaves. But then Season 11 came along, and this is, I think, where the Lloyd problem truly started. Because if you remember in the Ice chapter, Lloyd infamously went solo and faced the Ice Emperor alone. Now, most Ninjago fans despised this decision, and I can understand why. Nobody asked for this. We already got 3 seasons in a row with Lloyd focus and development. We didn't need another. And the fact that we got another one, it kind of felt like the writers were just saying, fuck you, we're going to write more Lloyd, and we don't give a shit, essentially. That's what it felt like. It felt like a middle finger to us, essentially. Sorry if I sound stuffed up. There's some sort of allergy coming in, so if I sound hoarse or stuffed up, that's why. But anyways, and I feel like the writers acknowledged this problem. They were like, oh crap, we made Lloyd very unlikable now. We'll just not give him that much to do, essentially. So in Season 12, he was basically a side character, which was good. But then there was that whole Lloyd, they had to bring back that whole stupid Lloyd and Harumi bit. Like, who asked? Honestly, I feel like the Lloyd and Harumi bit is the only reason why that Stop, Drop, and Side Scroll episode is considered one of the best in Prime Empire. I swear to God. It just makes me really angry. And then 13 was arguably his smallest role to date. He didn't do anything of significance in 13. And that was a good move, because had there been some Lloyd focus, had there been some he did technically have that arc, which was stupid, which was that whole, I'm not gonna trust Vanya because she's a princess. I'm like, so? That doesn't mean shit. I understand what it was trying to say, though. It was trying to say that not all people are bad, but that alone is very hard to write. That is very hard to write, especially because, with previous encounters with Harumi. I get that. But the way Lloyd came across, it felt Lloyd came across as just a bit of a douchebag, honestly, to Vanya, for no reason other than his own paranoia and his own trust issues. Which, that's one thing you should not do. I learned this the hard way. Do not push your negativity and your personal crap onto other people. All you're doing, you're not getting rid of the pain. You're just passing it to someone else. That's all you're doing. It's like suicide. I don't like mentioning suicide, especially considering a recent death of a family member who did commit suicide. I don't like mentioning it that much since I went through a suicidal period. But it's like suicide. You're not getting rid of the pain. You're just passing along to other people. That's all you're doing. So that's why I didn't like that arc, because if they truly wanted an understandable, just make Lloyd suspicious, nothing more. I felt like those comments like, you've done enough, or something like that, were completely uncalled for and completely unnecessary. But I'm ranting at this point. And then in the island, he's supposedly the focus, but not really. He doesn't really do much. I don't even understand why he escapes, but everyone does not. It just felt like shameless it feels like they're just shamelessly plugging in Lloyd, which I will make actually a video of why I don't really like how they're constantly using Lloyd to promote Ninjago, which I think is pretty stupid. Then in Seabound, again, another small minor role. And I feel like the writers have noticed that whenever Lloyd has a much smaller and minor role, where he doesn't really do that much importance, the seasons work. And that's what they need to do. They need to don't give Lloyd a season for like a while. And then maybe you can just give him one or some, and then move on to the next one. So while I do think at first Lloyd's development was really good, it's unfortunately marred by constantly using the character to the point where it just pretty much angered fans to the point where they just simply stopped liking the character. This is one of those cases where pushing a character to the moon does not work. I hate putting him here, but I'm being honest here. At number 4, we have Zane. Zane is a bit of a similar case with Lloyd, where it started out good and then it just kind of flatlines, essentially. Because a big criticism I've heard with Zane's character is that he doesn't really do anything major since season 4, which a lot of people wanted the character to be retired after that point, because what use is he in there if he's just going to be kind of tagging along and nothing more? At first I didn't understand what they meant, but then I thought about it a bit more and I was thinking, they actually have a point. Because when they tried to give him something at 11, it was a massive fail. It was a fail because it made no sense. Well, it made sense, but it was so underutilized to the point where we actually forgot he was supposed to be the main antagonist of the season 11 Ice chapter. So it's a very similar case, but it's not nearly as bad due to the fact that Zane's personality is more likable, in my opinion, than Lloyd's is. And because the amount of development that he got was better, I guess, and that even though there's like a big, long gap between his last major season versus him now, it hasn't resulted in a Lloyd problem. It's kind of almost the opposite, where it's like because he doesn't get so much development, it works that way. It's a very weird case, but an even weirder case than him is going to be coming up real soon. Number 3, we have Cole. Now, Cole and Zane have very similar cases, where their personality kind of masks the fact that they don't really have that much development. But with Cole, it's much more obvious than Zane. Because even though Cole has arguably some of the least amount of development out of the entire Ninja Squad, his character and personality, in a sense, makes up for it. Why else do you see so many Cole fans even before Master of the Mountain? There was a lot of Cole fans before Master of the Mountain, and Master of the Mountain definitely made them explode in recent times. Along with the passing of Kirby Morrow, obviously, but that's another case. So this is one of those cases where, yeah, the quality did matter over the quantity. Whereas with the bottom half of the list, it was kind of a bit of the opposite, where the quantity of the development was focused more over the quality, essentially. At number 2, once again for a Ninja Countdown, is Kai. A lot of people constantly rip on the new Kai and say, "Wah! He's not good anymore. Wah! He used to be the star of the show, but then Lloyd took it away. Wah!" Like, shut up. No one cares about your stupid whining little rant. No one cares. Essentially. Kai is still good. He has always been good, and I don't care what you say. I don't care. The quality of his development never went down. Well, there was one period where it kind of went down, but it's not like whoosh. It just kind of went down a little bit, but it wasn't like a complete drastically different. Because especially since, season 7, in my opinion, is his best season. I know there's that one commenter that has commented on my channel that said, I don't like season 7 and I don't think Kai's that good in there. I'm watching you, dude. I'm watching you. But Kai has had a great amount of development, and it suits the character, in my opinion. I remember one commenter said that Kai needs screen time, not development. And I absolutely, positively, 100% agree with this. There's a difference between screen time and development. I'm gonna actually be making a future video on this because people need to know the difference. It's kind of like how Ninjago fans don't know what the word filler is. I've seen a lot of videos talking about how they don't know what filler is. They just classify episodes they don't like as filler, essentially. And I'm gonna be doing the same thing. And while I don't think Kai is as good as he once was, I do agree with that. I do think that this new Kai, is still a likable version of the character, and I really still like this character to this day. And unpopular opinion, I'm basically the god of unpopular opinions, I actually think Kai is a great choice as a comic relief character. Comic relief characters are not a bad thing. And I'll explain this further, but I'll say that Kai was the perfect choice to replace Jay as a comic relief character. But I'll explain that in a future video. Now, this might surprise you, but at number 1, I put Nia as the ninja with the best quality development. And even though she has had some ups and downs, where she's at right now is basically the peak of her development. It's basically the peak. There's really, I don't think there's anywhere else she can get above that. But the fact that even though hasn't had really seasons written entirely about her, she's had arcs written around her, and those add up in the long run because she had arc after arc after arc after arc after arc after arc after arc, and it's about as much development as any of the other ninjas, if not better quality, because it's not as much development, but it's better quality. She first started out as a samurai, then became a ninja against her own will. That was one of the few iffy points of her development because it was against her own will and not something that she wanted to do. But then she soon accepted the role, and even though she had somewhat of a down period in Season 8, kind of came back up in Season 9, had a little bit of an iffy period around Season 10, kind of went down again in Season 11, went up back again in Season 12, had a little iffy period in Season 13, didn't really do much in the island, but then came Seabound. Oh my god. Her development at Season was insane, and it was insanely good. Arguably the best written season for a ninja. Arguably. And that's just me talking, and I just adored her development in Seabound because it wasn't focused on her relationship. Because that was a big criticism I gave to both Jay and Nia as characters. Because their characters revolved around their significant other to the point where that became basically their entire character. But now Nia has her individual character. And that's what made her awesome. And that's what made her stand out so much in that season. Oh, I'll be so happy if in abundance, a whoosh, tidal wave of Nia fans come to be in the fandom because of this development. And that would make me happy because I know that Nia has been doesn't really do good in the fans department, but I believe after this season her fans will skyrocket. And for those reasons, I put Nia as my number 1 choice for ranking the ninja based on their overall quality development. Anyways, what do you guys think? Who do you think is the best ninja according to their overall quality development? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click on the red subscribe button, and click on the notification bell to see every video that I will upload. And I'll see all you folks in the next video. Bye bye!